with Richard Massa. Our hosts and their guests are here to talk about comics, movies, random topics, and everything in between. Now, here's your hosts, Ryan and Richard.
The Oppenheimer Projects.
Yo, it's Monday,
Oh my God,
and
it
Richard
is.
and I are just wearing Christmas-themed stuff because we felt like it. Like,
Or I
you
didn't feel,
got-
I didn't feel like getting changed from school today.
Wait.
So.
Do you have? Does that say anything? Is it superhero? Oh, I see cats now.
Yeah, it says Meowie Christmas.
Meowie Christmas.
Yeah,
Yeah. So we're here to talk Christmas movies. This is an idea that Richard had, but I just gotta ask this guy real quick. We won't spend too much time. Richard, you didn't see anything relevant this weekend? I'm guessing.
I saw West Side Story last weekend.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything this weekend.
No.
I saw
Nothing.
I saw no movies this weekend.
Oh, wait, was it last week?
It was Thursday.
Yeah,
Thursday I
that's
went
right.
to the movies. There was
A small
newest-
film, right?
the newest. You know what? I genuinely don't know since we cut out the news. I have no clue how much it made.
Oh, hold on. My dad actually texted me because he was
Okay.
surprised by the numbers. What do you use? Box Office Mojo?
Box Office Mojo. Yeah,
Jesus.
$100?
64 million.
64 minutes. That's just Sunday.
Stop it.
You're not looking at the right thing.
Oh, so 260 million? Does that sound
Yeah,
better?
yeah, that's better. Yeah.
Okay, got it. All right, so Richard, you're always talking about this before we even talk about anything else, because I love hearing your box office insight. I truly do, and I kind of I'm drawing a blank. 500 million, good by any means, pandemic standards or
Yep.
opening weekend period, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like the third highest grossing weekend. Yep, 260 million is pretty insane. And then does it have a worldwide of I knew this. I was saying this that before. It'll be the highest grossing movie of the year, being out for 14 days. And that's a really, really nice number. I mean, without taking a sidetrack, Omicron is back. And Omicron is here. Sorry, he's not back. Omicron is here. And,
Here.
yeah, and he's knocking some things out. He's canceling Broadway. He's doing a bunch of things. Eagles are playing tomorrow because of what Omicron's doing. So, I mean, it takes a lot to get the NFL to move the needle and not be on to move it to Tuesday. So, that being said, no effect on and I will tell you that you could tell. Yeah, I mean, but again, I left my mask on the whole time. People, I think that's what happened here. The dedication. Yeah, it's a huge number, amazing number. I cannot wait for. I want to say we'll call it January. That maybe the third week of January we do our Spider-Man show. The 1 month out. Yeah, we'll do the 1 month out around the 17th, whatever that is. At that point, because
we're good people like that.
It's impossible to talk about it without spoiling things.
And that's one where even me and even my daughter Alexis, oldest, you really pushed it, and you just said push the needle to see it. I was kind of and then I was scrolling on my phone, and I would, let's just put it this way without giving away spoilers, I would see something and I would go and I was nope. So then I was I got to see this weekend, or I'm just gonna miss out on fun. It's gonna suck.
And what I learned very quickly on Friday night when I'm being my 16-year-old self and scrolling through TikTok. Oh yeah, TikTok was blowing. I mean, these people were just straight up filming in the theater.
No mercy, no holds barred.
No, this was funny, So people were filming the different things. So, but yeah, no, I can't wait to talk about it in a couple weeks. But just if you haven't seen it, go see it. You should have. Like we saw in the preview, we're seeing the Spider-Man villains from the other movies. So it's kind of, I wouldn't say it's super important. So, again, like Jay didn't sit there and say, hey, I haven't seen the other movies. She just, so. But yeah, really neat movie. A really neat movie. Again, like I did this stereotypical, I laughed, I cried. But it hit it. The amount of people I've seen with that kind of, you laugh, you cry, you're excited. It's got all the action you need. The amount and the right kind of cheese.
Perfect amount of cheese.
Yeah, the right cheese, and
yeah.
I used to tease David a little bit about this, and I've said it many times on the show. Like, I'd go see something, and then I'd be so excited. I'd be up there at like a 20, and then I talk to him, and he would take me down a couple, because he'd be like, "Oh, you didn't see when Thor was flying? You could see the wire." Like, he would see things, and it wasn't even necessarily in a it wasn't even in a curmudgeon-y mode. Like, he was just
right.
So I'd always be like, "Oh yeah, you take it down." He has not seen it yet, but I can't even fathom he comes back with anything. Because again, there wasn't even anything like. Because the second I was like, "Oh, this is not going to be a Spider-Man movie. It's going to be a," and I think I can say that's but Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is featured for and yeah, it is a Spider-Man movie. Well, it does a really neat job. And off the air, I'll tell you something that I figured out that just blew me away, because I was like, holy cow. Like, yeah, it just goes on. Like last week during the show, I said I need to hit 22 things, and they were fictional 22 things. And I'm thinking about trying to write it up for when we actually do the show, like what the 22 things are. But like, it hit all 22, and I was sitting there going like, all right, it did 21. And then the after credits came on. I'm like, oh, yep, there you go. You got me.
I think it got to 21, because off air there's one that I know you were hoping, and you weren't going to be totally upset if it didn't happen.
Okay, so yeah, you have to tell me. You have to tell me. Yeah, text me that later. But yeah, what I was fascinated is maybe the best final credit, like after the credits thing ever. Just in terms of substance.
I just texted you.
Thank you. Yeah, like from sorry, spoilers for Avengers, which came out 8 million years ago. Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, but even there was just a nod to it.
A very
subtle
nod. Yeah.
Oh, and I was gonna say, all right, everyone else just stop watching, because Ryan and I like no, because I picked this up too. That even in that nod was fascinating, because it was like. Yeah, so fascinating. The whole thing is fascinating. I wish I had a better vocabulary, and be like, oh, but awesome, amazing, cool. All the hip lingos that the kids say. Go see Spider-Man No Way Home.
We can start talking about it.
Yeah, yes, exactly. No slowing down for Marvel, and on January 12th, when I finally watch Eternals, when it comes to Disney Plus, I'll know, and hopefully over Christmas break, and which I realize you probably don't have a huge Christmas break, but hopefully in the next month too, you can catch up on Hawkeye, and because I will say, Hawkeye is it's behind WandaVision, but it's behind WandaVision by just a step.
I was just about to say the next like dropping Easter eggs, holding your
interest. It really does, and I think people aren't. I think they kind of were like, oh, WandaVision isn't. First off, if you tuned in to hear about Christmas movies, it was just a way to get you to tag in, because we're hitting the 10-minute mark. When Ryan, I'm going to pull back the curtain a little bit. This is the 1-year anniversary since Ryan put a little post up on Facebook saying the Oppenheimer projects is a thing. Like Teenagers and Toddlers is expanding to the Oppenheimer projects. He's going to have several new, and went nuts. Ryan was on here 4 or 5 times a week. And then the bosses were like, "Hey, you're good people. We're gonna give you a better job." And now Ryan, and now Ryan raising a teenager, toddler, and twins with Monica, and then working nonstop is finding, we don't get to do this as much, and it works for me too, because I was like, I was often say to Ryan like I don't know, I'm feeling a little like I was feeling drained without the teenager, the toddler, or the twins, and a job with very like. 7 to 3 hours, and I was exhausted. But all that being said, at some point before Ryan started his new venture, we had started like a list of all the topics we had to do in order to do something every week. And obviously, for around this time, we had penned in the end of the year review, all the big stories of the year.
Yeah,
and it is such like it just kicked my butt when I was kind of thinking about it. WandaVision started on January 15th. Like WandaVision, Captain Cap, Loki, Hawkeye, they were all this year. What if? Like all this year. Like
they did go hard.
Real hard. Right, because Disney Plus got a lot of work this year for me. Like I'm still paying that original subscription where it was like 3 years for $100, and so it was like it's $3 a month. Like I think I'm done. I think I make it to next November. But again, like I watched it a lot that first month, and then The Mandalorian was the big keeper. And we get Boba Fett a couple days after Christmas, so
it's getting busy. Well, they're staying busy, not getting busy.
They're staying busy, and I said all that to say, Wanda took us to this insane place, and then Cap and Winter Soldier was just like a very good show, but normal. Like we're like, where's the insanity of WandaVision? It was like, no, you can't do that. And then, Loki was different, but it didn't hit people the right way. And so that's why I kind of think some people haven't taken a chance on Hawkeye, but it is really good in delivering on all the stuff. I might have to watch WandaVision again. So, all right, but WandaVision. I can't tie it into Christmas. I messed up that segue.
It's
Christmas
okay.
time.
He's usually good at segues.
Yeah. I will tell you this. Now that we've officially started the Christmas part of the podcast, we're ready for some angry comments because we are not going to name. I think you kind of name somebody's favorites. I definitely have named, but other than that, I don't know if any of our top fives are in anyone else's top five. I mean, definitely one of mine is in people's top fives, and I'm curious if any of yours are in people's top fives.
I feel like my list always gets like overlooked, like a majority of them.
Two of your top fives are on Rotten Tomatoes 19 worst.
That's my type of humor.
Right. One of mine, I will say this: my top one is on no one's list, and no one has seen or heard of it. So again, Christmas time. There's most of the lists I looked at online, and a couple of videos I looked at YouTube. Nobody really draws a distinction between movie and what we would call like the animated special. So Rudolph, Frosty, they're all in the same category as Polar Express and Santa Claus and those. But it's again, and I think when we talk about our top fives, we'll have a little story about as to why that hits us in the right way.
No, yeah, so definitely. So how about we do this? Let's go like one for one.
It's a great little video. What is this video? Did you make?
I typed in Christmas movie montage.
Yeah. Oh, this works. Yeah. I was gonna say this is. I mean, I've seen your video skills, so I wouldn't doubt if it was you. Do you think we could play your Batmobile video, or it would be?
Yeah, we definitely can. We're gonna get 58 comments.
So, in the vein of Christmas, when it was Ryan's birthday this year, Shannon and I bought Ryan for his birthday a Batmobile, but it's kid size. So we just kept it to give to the boys for Christmas. And I put it into Monica's car at work like about a week ago now, but forgot to text her or Ryan and say, don't open it till Christmas. It's a big thing for me. Don't open till Christmas. Yes. So I really am officially apologizing that you would have had a big box in the way, but it probably would have been less. Actually, it probably would have killed Jade the entire time to look at that huge box. But
listen, you have nothing to be sorry for. And Richard and I talk about this all the time. 58 comments. There's videos that I send Richard that we don't want to catch criticism online because sometimes people are just quick to pass their judgment. With that being said, Richard, like literally, I was watching 5 or 6 videos that I've taken of the boys like arguing and fighting over the car last night. I was cracking up. So you have provided plenty of pre-Christmas entertainment. So for that, I thank you.
Yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, I'm glad to make you happy. And then hopefully we get a little warm weather. We can see how it runs outside. So, or if it runs at all. So, all right. So
well.
I interrupted you. Do you want me to go first?
No, I was gonna say, why don't we go? Do you want to? Let's go back and forth. I'm thinking, and count down. So, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is The Year Without a Santa Claus. The Year Without a Santa Claus. This is it.
I don't think I've heard of this one.
No, yeah. So, how you might have heard of it is this is the hour-long cartoon animated special that gives us Freeze. I'm Mr. Heat Miser and I'm Mr. Freeze Miser. Those two hits. Do I need to play them for you? Do you know them, or are you looking at me like you're old, or you froze? And
now I know who they are.
Yes, there you go.
There they is.
Yeah.
They creep me out.
Is that technically stop motion? I guess not even animated, right? So,
is this the right one?
This is it. Yeah, I'm saying right. I'm saying I guess it's technically the stop motion was the.
So how did it hit your top 5?
Listen. Anytime you honestly. It was just something from this is late 70s, early 80s, that kind of show that it wasn't Rudolph or Frosty. It was just different. And those two songs, I'm a bit of a musical. Those two songs really hit me. The rest of the story is just straight crap. Like Santa Claus makes a big deal out of being in bed and not wanting to, he wants to cancel Christmas, and Mrs. Claus is like, you can't cancel. So Jingle and Jangle, this is Jingle and Jangle Fallen right here. They take one of the young reindeer and they go looking for to see why the people don't have Christmas spirit. And then they cross through Heat Miser and Freeze Miser's properties, lands, and it's a whole battle. And but Santa Claus is out of his bed within 10 minutes of the movie starting, because he's like, you can't send Jingle and Jangle out there, and so Santa Claus is incognito walking around trying to figure out why people don't have Christmas spirit anymore. So it's that classic, where did everyone's spirit go, and commercialism and that kind of thing. And he finds out enough people do believe in him, spoilers, that he gets back on. But it is locked in for me as something I put on. This is a great wrapping the presents kind of, it's got a couple cool songs, and and that is why The Year Without a Santa Claus, which there's not a year without a Santa Claus. That's probably why I'm just angry from youth. There should have been a whole year where there was no Santa Claus, and then we get to the next year. But that's why that's my number 5. Ryan, what's your number 5?
My number 5, and I'm sure it gets overlooked, I was thinking, in all of the Vince Vaughn Christmas movies that he's done, because I actually had to stop and I was like, wait, no, it wasn't Fred Claus.
I'm not thinking about Fred Claus. Right.
I was like, it was Reese. And then I think he actually did three of them. But for me, number 5 is Four Christmases. I accidentally stumbled onto it when Monica and I first started dating. She put on this movie, and it was just something to watch. And I thought that Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon were hilarious together. But more than that, it was the ridiculous family aspect on Vince Vaughn's side, where the humor was just wild and crazy. I remember that I accidentally woke Monica up because it was the one scene where he bought his brothers and dad a satellite for television for the house. And he's like, yeah, Dad, so the guy's going to be here next week to install it for you. And he's like, no, we don't have pedophiles over here to install things for us. We'll take care of that ourselves. And then he goes on to just be ridiculous, tons of just crazy interactions that probably are a little dark for the Christmas spirit. But I thought they all did. And look at John Favreau.
Right.
He's lean and jacked. And
I love that John Favreau busts that out every once in a while in a movie where he's in The Replacements I get the ball. Right. And then for most of the time you're like, oh no, it's chubby John Favreau. No, he can work. His scene in that movie with his wife where he's eating wings and they're playing the charades type or taboo game. It's a huge it's a huge TikTok thing now where people are like reenacting it, or it's just him eating wings, and yeah, it's an absurd fun movie.
Yeah, and Robert Duvall, chose his he flexes his comedy muscle.
Yeah.
And so me, classic Vaughn, gotta love Reese. Again, Favreau in there, Robert Duvall, just a nice, funny, wacky Christmas movie for me. Yes, I'm sorry, I do choose it over Bad Santa, so I apologize.
I would say there's no wrong answers here until we say something that people get upset about. All right, for me, number 4, I think is the one that I can see being on certain people's lists. And I'll be honest, I'm going to have a real tough time explaining what I like about this one. It's Elf, and I guess, it's, but like it's Elf. And again, it is just, I can put it on and leave it on. It's Will Ferrell before he did it, before it became he became like a parody of himself. Like, neat, really just a neat concept. And well executed. James Caan, another Godfather alumni doing a little bit of a fun comedy thing.
That's so hilarious. As soon as you said that, I was like, damn it.
But not necessarily, whereas Duvall was doing his stuff for laughs. James Caan is, he is the straightest man in the straight man in Elf. But again, the stuff with Peter Dinklage is amazing, and which I don't think I knew who Peter Dinklage was when I first saw him in Elf, and just a lot of fun with. And I'll say it this one time, so we don't have to repeat it for every. One of the hallmarks, no pun intended, to Christmas movies is that they have a message. You learn something, or and you're like, oh, like in Four Christmases. Oh, we love each other, and our families are crazy, but we love each other, and all these, right. And in Elf, it's it's to believe is the big thing in all of these, which are kind of fun. But Elf does it in the most clever way, I can see. So for that reason, Elf is number 4 on my top 5 all-time Christmas favorites.
Elf, and I think that Elf is probably a lot of people's favorites. That's one of those ones where a lot of Christmas movies are quotable, right?
Right, yeah, Elf is huge, right.
Every year, Santa, I know him, everybody just always busts out Elf quotes. So I would say maybe the most, but tie between this one and Home Alone.
That's Shanna calling me.
Oh,
should I answer? Okay? Should I answer it live?
We answer it live.
Hey, you're live on the air. You're live on the air.
Oh, I forgot. Bye.
Is everything okay? Okay? Okay, all right.
Yeah. I gotta take Kai to the bar.
Okay, okay. All right, goodbye.
Bye.
You got it. What a great Christmas tradition. Got to take Kai to the bar. Okay.
Yep.
So a little backstory on that, and I knew that with the way she was texting me, she did not remember this was happening. And so I kept texting her. She would be like, all right, I got to take Kaya. I won't be over till later. And she kept like, eat without me, all these things. And I was like, but you're not, but she's just not telling the whole story. And I could have made life easier just by saying, no worries, I'm doing the podcast, So,
but there's Bob Newhart.
Yeah, there's Bob Newhart, which is a big, this is a movie I'm surprised we haven't seen, even if it wasn't, a Will Ferrell base, like that we haven't seen a reboot or just like a continuation with, maybe with the kids, his kids or something like a totally like, we know that I think there's just a new Home Alone that just came out. There's a Home Alone 4 and 5 that very few people have seen, like straight to
Home
video
Alone
kind
3
of thing
with Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, okay. There's
a very young Scarlett Johansson.
Home Alone 4. I put on one night with I was babysitting one of our friends. I guess she was 6 or 7 at the time, daughter, and she's just flipping through Disney stuff, and it was this time of the year, and Home Alone 4 was on, and it's just like it's about the kid being home alone, and like it's just, and I was like, oh, she's getting scared. She's freaked out like by this whole thing. But she was being brave, like, oh no, it's fine, leave it on. And then I got a text later on from her parents. What did you let her watch? Like, I didn't let her watch. I was like, I didn't let her watch anything. It was Home Alone 4. Like, so, all right. You're number 4, sir.
So for me, my number 4 is Jim Carrey's The Grinch. Jim Carrey's The Grinch. And for me, this one is like, it's a lot of nostalgia because, and maybe you can relate to this. Remember pre-pandemic times when Thanksgiving, remember like Thanksgiving week, that Wednesday, it was
that Wednesday
the movie dropped or movies dropped.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, so I saw The Grinch. I believe it opened that week before Thanksgiving. Saw that movie. I remember my mom wanted to take my sister and I to see it. I was kind of at that like awkward age. I'm like, oh, I want to go see her. And then I just remember being like very impressed, fell so in love with it, and just thought that it was hilarious and a great mix of Jim Carrey humor. Right, Jim Carrey did a great job as the Grinch. While also bringing the story itself to life, right? That classic story.
Yeah, sure.
And then Ron Howard, like, and this is just me, like, going, like, real in depth now. Just really making it Dr. Seuss-like. You got crazy angles, the makeup's over the top, and this is still live action. And then this might be a little bit of a weird detail, but this is another one for me. Whenever I see this movie, I think it's probably one of the better scores.
Okay.
Was it Faith Hill?
Yes.
Where are you, Christmas? For some reason, I love it.
Yeah, huge hit.
Yeah, huge hit. So it's just like a really, really good mix of a lot of things that make it my what is it, number 4?
Number 4.
My number 4. So for number 4 for me, it's Jim Carrey's The Grinch. And my boys, that video was of James. They love the Cumberbatch Grinch. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's not bad, but
now is it a different story though, Benedict's?
Yeah, it's like
it's just
different. It doesn't hit on the whole school bullying thing. At least I don't think it does. You know, let me not even pretend. I just haven't. I haven't.
The boys are watching it, and so that's right.
So the boys are watching it. So for me, number 4, Jim Carrey and Ron Howard's.
I'm laughing at that. 20 years from now, the boys are doing a podcast going, and do you believe we found this old footage? Our dad was endorsing this horrible Grinch that where, like, you know, Jim Carrey wore green face. It was very, very disrespectful.
Hashtag not my Grinch.
Yeah, that's right. Hashtag not my Grinch. So, all right, my number 3 is Love Actually.
That's a good one.
It is one that kind of snuck up on me. People were telling me to watch it, and I just sat down one night and watched it. And it is heavy in the rotation over the next few weeks. And again, I was watching it before we came on, and so many cute people in it, including a young Rick Grimes here from Love. Is that Rick? Nope, that's Colin Firth. But
still very dashing in his.
Yeah, still very dashing. Yeah, still very
dashing now. Actually,
but like again, so many. So Love Actually, for those who don't know, is one of those like mega stories. Which actually, Love Actually, I think is what kind of kicked this off. Happening is you have 500 stories happening, and they all kind of slightly intertwined. You know, and there's 40 different stars in it. You know, and
Liam.
They all tie together. Liam has a little story. Keira Knightley and Andrew Lincoln have a story.
Kate Hudson
is nope, that's a different
Kate
movie.
Kate Winslet, right?
That's a totally different movie called The Holiday.
Oh, it is. Damn, but that was another mega one, wasn't it?
No, that one was just
no.
So
I screwed it up, ladies and gentlemen. I
haven't seen it. Yep. That's all right. Nice try. That was a good. So I tell you, just a lot of great music in it, and it's a fun comedy. Also, just some heartbreaking stuff with Alan Rickman and the woman who's in all the other movies with stall for me while I look up this woman's name. What is the woman? No, it is I don't know how to find I just look up IMDb. Love Actually. Yeah, so Love Actually. Love Actually. So many good actors and actresses, of course. Hugh Grant, Emma Thompson, of course. Who could forget that? Who can forget that name? Emma Thompson. Richard could. Richard could forget that name. Yeah, he did. But that's something I do. Laura Linney. Chiwetel Ejiofor. He's the bad guy in Doctor Strange. Well, he was. Oops, spoilers. Yeah, so many good. I'm so embarrassed I can't say her name. Chiwetel Ejiofor. But yeah, tons of great and just a lot of fun for the whole family. So if you have not watched Love Actually, give it a try this Christmas season.
So Love Actually is Richard's. What's that? Your number three?
My number three. Yeah.
Number 3 for Richard is Love Actually, and number 3 for me is going to be Home Alone 2: Lost in New York. Home Alone 2: Lost in New York. Now, this to me, so many reasons, and I know I keep saying that, but
Sure.
actually one of the first. I think it was the first. No, it wasn't. One of the first movies I saw in theaters. I definitely remember seeing it at the small theater in Newtown with my mom and dad, and I just remember even at that young age of probably like 4 or 5. And today I'm not sure parents would appreciate the violence of it, right? Like Marv getting electrocuted and then on and all that stuff. But I think that Home Alone this is another quotable film. Even when I was in college, we would be like, Harry, just like a few of the things from Home Alone 2. And this movie actually also for me, if I haven't said enough on this podcast and on my other podcast, New York holds a very special place in my heart. That was a big chapter of my life. So now having been, moved on from that chapter, the scene where Kevin realizes he's in New York and he has a good time, and a little New York City montage, and the scene pulling away where you see the Twin Towers. That the New York piece of it is very important to me also. So just and look, this these scenes violent, but watching it, you kind of just still crack up at all of it. The brick scene, this scene, Joe Pesci being hilarious instead of a violent mafioso.
I was gonna say Joe Pesci taking a comedic turn, yes. So.
The sticky bandits, the wet bandits.
Yeah.
And you know what? Oddly enough, I will flip past Home Alone if it's on. Home Alone 2, I won't. For some reason, Home Alone just doesn't hit it for me. I'm not against it. I just
no, but that's the beauty of this list, and everyone's list is, like again, if you guys if our listeners haven't already caught on, you're not hearing White Christmas and It's a Wonderful Life in these lists, and it's not because they're not bad movies. It's just they haven't made those connections for us that they did for other people. You
you saw them both, right?
I didn't see I've never seen It's a Wonderful
Life. Home Alone 2.
Oh yes, I've seen both of them. Yes.
What would you say? One of the films where the sequel is better than the original, or at least as good as?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. Home Alone is definitely somewhat the one I've seen more. Home Alone 2, I think I don't know if I've seen it more than once, or or bits and pieces of it. But again, you were your age and I was in university at the time, so.
Home Alone 2 was my number 3.
Yeah, that's possible. I'm forgetting. I just got a message from one of our listeners that he doesn't think our link is working. Maybe we got copyrighted for using too many videos.
I might have. Let's see. I may have. That's not fair. I'm not using audio.
Yeah, we're not using any sounds, people. Who knows? It could just be.
Let's see. Hold on.
Really? I was just.
Yeah, it was blocked.
Yeah, look at that. We've just been talking to ourselves. We can now do Spider-Man.
No, there was viewers, but we got blocked. No, let's keep going because we're still going to produce the audio.
Okay. And maybe we stop showing clips, whatever, if no one's listening.
I'm going to go to our Facebook page and tag us.
While you're doing that, I will say that if we had interns, we definitely would do a whole episode about Christmas episodes of famous TV shows. I was
100%.
the Ted Lasso Christmas special was phenomenal. This a couple months ago when it came out. The Community Christmas specials are always amazing. I'm partial to the time the Glee Club gets into an accident and the Community gang has to take over and learn Christmas. Abed gets stuck in. They do a claymation special for Christmas, so Christmas specials are usually pretty stellar. Again, they always usually they help someone out. They learn a lesson.
They learn a lesson. They're grumpy in the beginning. They learn about themselves.
Right. And something that Christmas specials do for Christmas episodes is they will always you will always hear like bells and they'll be like, that's Santa Claus. Like they will straight up show Santa Claus flying by on his sleigh. Like they that's a trope they use all the time, just having Santa pop up. So yeah.
So wait, did you just say your number? I wasn't paying attention. I'm sorry.
I didn't say no. I was killing time while you were there. All right, my number 2 is speaking of Ted Lasso on Apple TV. I remember laughing at like what I thought was such a dumb thing a couple years ago when Apple TV, as a new company, bought all the rights to the Peanuts holiday specials, all the Peanuts TV. And I remember thinking like, what? Except this year when people were like, oh, I want to watch the Peanuts special. Where can I find it? One place you can find it. So I was like, oh, right. That's kind of genius. So Charlie Brown's Christmas. Yep. It's right up there. It could be any number on my list. It's a must see each year. And again, not even for the message, it might be a little too religious-y for me. I think that boy in his blanket maybe needs to work on, but regardless, Snoopy's phenomenal in it. Charlie Brown's, just being his best self. The Charlie Brown Christmas tree, again, we always had kind of like a subpar Christmas tree growing up, and I found out it's because growing up, and I actually don't know my dad's version of it, but for my mom, her father who died when my mom was only 13, but my grandfather on my mom's side, he would wait till Christmas Eve to get a tree, which a lot of people were like, oh yeah, that's a tradition we do. He would like literally wait because then till like midnight when the place was closed, and then just grab the trees they kind of like left.
Right.
But
you do what you gotta do, right?
Yeah. So he wasn't paying for a tree. So it was definitely a tradition in our house. Like we had a restaurant. We did nonstop catering the last few weeks of December. So Christmas Eve tradition for our family was like my dad would go out shopping Christmas morning and leave my mom and the 4 kids to run we had to give all the food out. We had to do all the food, close the restaurant down while he went out and he did all of the shopping. Like they had, all of the gifts. We didn't necessarily get those hot gifts that people got each year. We weren't getting he would go to this store. Have you ever seen it in Haddonfield, Happy Hippo?
I feel like I passed it.
You've definitely passed Happy Hippo,
Yeah.
But he would go to Happy Hippo. He would spend good money, but like I wasn't getting He-Man or Star Wars toys. I was getting like a rocket ship that you filled with water and it went in the sky, or like, and I wouldn't get Legos. I would get like some other kind of like smarter Legos. So, Connect, something like that. Nothing brand name. It was all like, and then they would go find a tree last minute too, or my dad would cut one down from the backyard. So it just, that kind of ties in, and like, Charlie Brown's Christmas, like, yeah, we always kind of had a Charlie Brown tree growing up, but Christmas is that, is that time where you looked at all that craziness and it was just like, yeah, but there was such a, so I'm sitting there remembering every year Christmas was canceled because my mom, this is before cell phones, you get fathom, like my mom was just being like, we haven't heard from your father all day. Christmas isn't happening. It was amazing. It was amazing.
You want to hear something I think you could appreciate it?
Yep.
So my mother, let's not even just like, it's still to this day, Monica would tell you, oh, nothing's changed. My mother straight up spoiled my sister and I year round, right?
Mm-hmm.
Year round. Okay. So I'm not even kidding you. And if she's listening, Mom, it's true. Come birthdays, come Hanukkah, come Christmas or whatever, we never like got upset about it because we were kind of just like, all right, whatever. Hey, Mom, you didn't get us any Christmas gifts. She would be like, every day is Christmas for you guys.
Right.
And we would be like, nothing. You didn't get anything. And she'd be like, nope. Every day is Christmas for you guys. And we'd be like, good thing we have my dad's side of the family.
I was gonna. That's a podcast for next year where we actually. Yeah, I was like, I just remembered. Yeah, no wait.
That's
Actually,
a Dr. Mom podcast.
Yeah, you've had a little bar mitzvah. Yeah.
And she did throw the bar mitzvah together. So like I said, it really did kind of balance out, if you will. For me,
you're number 2, yeah.
Yeah, my number 2 is easily Just Friends, and this is the one that I think a lot of people didn't see coming.
I was gonna say, yeah, no one saw coming.
Yeah, it was. I remember it popped up, and Ryan Reynolds wasn't even Ryan Reynolds just yet.
He was just outside. Yep, he was just outside of being Ryan Reynolds.
He's like Van Wilder kind of.
Yep, he was Van Wilder. Yep.
And Alexis's mom and I went to go see it, and I just remember the theater was howling like the entire movie, because it kind of was like, let's just say it was a Ryan Reynolds Christmas movie.
Yep.
It was like Ryan Reynolds humor in every way, shape, and form. Ryan Reynolds jokes. All the characters were saying like jokes where you would kind of be like, oh my God, did he just say that? And also like long running jokes throughout the movie, which I always love. Like the mom was always like picking up the phone and just, she didn't understand that she was trying to make a call out, but he was talking to somebody. So you would just hear her go, hello, Joyce. And he'd be like, Mom, I'm on the phone. And then the brother would shout. So I thought it was very cute how they did that whole family aspect. The brothers still, and I think that might be a real life thing. Things never change. You kind of always mess with your sibling. The mom was still the mom. For those of you that didn't see it, which I think most of you probably did.
Yeah. Right.
He was a fat kid that got skinny and hung out with rock stars and R&B, singers, and comes back home and is still in love with the girl that he couldn't get in high school. And not Kevin Kline. It's Chris Klein, right?
Chris Klein, yes, Chris Klein. Yeah,
well, Chris Klein's in it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this movie is its own little dissection of like early 2000s pop. Like Anna Faris is who's since become a pretty big star.
Yeah.
Is the throwaway crazy rock star. Amy Smart, who we all thought at that time was going to be huge, has had a career, but she's not huge by any means. And Chris Klein has disappeared, but he was
riding the American Pie wave.
He was riding his American Pie wave, and he was definitely like there are people who probably would have told you but Ryan Reynolds undeniably that was. I've only seen it once or twice, but a very, very funny movie. And I would not have thought of it as a Christmas movie, except he's home for the holidays. So,
and I'm sure you and I mean, maybe not so much me because I'm a newer version, but you and Monica, it's in Jersey, and they make a lot of like Jersey jokes about Jersey small towns.
Right.
Like I remember the one friend is like, it's Dinkelman, lives in Jersey, skis in his jeans, Dinkelman, and he's just like Dinkelman. And I just remember dying at that entire little exchange.
Right. No, that's a good one. That's a nice. We could have had people guess all day, like win $1,000 guessing their top 5, and we would have been safe.
And it's on Netflix if anyone's wondering. Go check it out. So Netflix, don't block me.
Yeah, sorry. We have paid for these movies. We do pay for our streaming services. There are no borrowed passwords. So
we still go to the movie theaters or
we both went and spent money on. We were a very small drop in the Spider-Man money this weekend. My number 1, which I don't believe a lot of people, if any, have seen, is Scrooge the Musical. So it's just called Scrooge the Musical, starring Albert Finney, who you probably know as Daddy Warbucks from the Annie movie from the early 80s and many other movies. But Albert Finney is Scrooge, and it's a musical, and it was just something. This will take you back, Ryan, because you can't fathom what this is. This was something we watched every Christmas, and my parents had to rent a VCR. You would have to go to the local place and rent the VCR. And again, with a restaurant and my parents working 24/7, Christmas week with taking the day off after Christmas, with New Year's that week, we would rent the VCR for the week, and it was the only time we watched movies for a couple, probably 3 or 4 years. Like that was a big time we would rent, but Scrooge was always one of the movies we watched. We probably owned it at some point. It is so funny to flash forward probably 40 years now. And we now own it I bought it from Amazon, I bought it from Amazon because it's not something that they
Richard, I'm just going to go on YouTube and watch it right now. Right?
Yeah, right. So, but yeah, Scrooge the Musical. I don't even know if there's a song anyone would know from it, but it is something that it's the movie I have to watch in its entirety. Definitive. Like honestly, Shanna's been with me for 15 years. I don't think she's made it through the whole movie, but she'll know some of the she'll know "Thank You Very Much," which is probably the most catchy song from it. But it is the movie that fills me with the most nostalgia, and I'm a big fan. Scrooge the Musical, my number one.
Scrooge the Musical, you're number one. Love it. So for me, my number one, and I feel like this movie always. How about this? I feel like this movie always gets overlooked.
It does. It gets overlooked and criticized sometimes.
It criticized, but people always quote it. You can't grab a cookie without somebody going, "Put that cookie down," something like that.
Yeah, right.
Jingle All the Way. Jingle All the Way, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sinbad, a very young Jake Lloyd. We don't know what happened to him. Ultimately, he would go on to play Anakin Skywalker. Wouldn't be asked back for the other two films. They would reprise. They would fill the role with the very handsome, debatable about how talented he is, Hayden Christensen. I'm a fan, but some people aren't. And just a very screwball comedy film. Go ahead.
Did you just make an error and I slept through it?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Which one?
You're so close. You were right. You're in the entire bumper. It was Jake Lloyd.
Yeah.
Who would play Anakin in the first prequel?
No. I said so.
So listen. Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
Did I zone out and not hear you entirely, and then try to correct you?
You did.
Yeah. And that, my friends, it's called acting. It's acting. So.
It's acting. I knew Ryan knew it.
I knew Ryan knew it. I knew he didn't make a mistake, but I wanted to see if he could catch me in a mistake. So happy birthday, Ryan. So Merry Christmas. So Jingle All the Way.
Jingle All the Way, and just maybe another one that it kind of. I love movies where it kind of starts out like, oh, okay, this is kind of just going to be traditional, right. And then that I think I told you that one scene that I revisited where as a kid you're kind of just like, what's this crazy guy talking about? But as an adult, you see Sinbad giving his little rant outside of the toy store about, dear Santa, can you get me a bike and a slinky? No, your father's been laid off. Like that whole rant where he's just going on, and he does a number of has a number of scenes where it's kind of just like off the walls, hilarious. Richard, I'm going to need your help here. He's no longer with us. The SNL alum who was a very big, Phil Hartman was a big part of it. Trying to move in on Arnold Schwarzenegger's wife. And, even with all that wacky comedy and everything that's going on, all these one-liners, when you get to the parade scene and Arnold Schwarzenegger, somehow ends up in the Turbo Man suit, which, wasn't on purpose, whole cinema thing for it. Right. When he's in the suit and you see Jake Lloyd's character looking at him and, it slows down and he's just all excited. Here's his hero. It's Turbo Man. He's in real life. That to me is a very nostalgic scene, right? Every kid can kind of relate to seeing something or that larger than life character right there in front of them. But, just there it is. Just a really simple plot. A dad works too much. There's a toy that he forgot to get. It's all his wife asked him to do. It's all the son wants. It's last minute shopping. And, ultimately, like you said, cookie cutter, the kid gives the toys away. But for me, that's my number one. I always
and again, it really, for anyone who is not a fan of Jingle All the Way, like hopefully after listening to Ryan talk about it, you kind of see what makes it special. And Arnold's always going to be criticized for his acting, but again, that's his accent. That was his accent. That was his voice. He wasn't doing it. He wasn't doing a character. He was, he was talking like he would talk. And just a kind of thinking back to it, just a neat movie because it was new to us, like this idea of oh, like, yeah, there's these toys, and yeah, what length will you go to? And just the insanity of Sinbad and him fighting over it. And, it's something that I don't think happens as much, but definitely happens. You're definitely going to get hit at some point in the next few years where the kids ask for something and you're like, we've been asking you for, for months what you want. Now you're
Monica would totally be like, and that I thought the delivery was perfect, and like I would do it too, where she's like, you got the doll right, and it just zooms in,
yeah,
and
right,
she's like, Howard, please tell me you did not, and he's like, yeah, I got it, and it's like, for me, I'd be like, oh my god, Amazon, please deliver it on Christmas Day.
You're making me think about also how interesting it is with all of these movies, in that they flirt with this overall story. All of the movies, other than like It's a Wonderful Life and some of the other movies, but you fight. The concept is about believing in Santa Claus, or belief, and then it's also, most of them are about like just regular human beings trying to get by, because again, like, he's going on this journey to find this toy because Santa Claus needs help from us, I guess.
Yeah.
And so it's just that interesting thing. Like, when we watch these movies with our kids, and we put this idea in their head all the time of like, yeah, Santa gets a lot of help from us. But I would tell you, I've learned things from finally listening to people. Everybody has a different tradition. And for the first time the last few years, I've heard about this thing called want, need something else. Dream or something like that. It's like,
Okay.
And the idea is that you ask your child to write down one thing like they need new jeans, or they need new sneakers, something they want, and then I can't remember what the third thing is, but like this idea of like, where it's like, oh yeah, I really want a new video game. And like, maybe the dream is like a bike, like the idea is
right.
And then that's what they get for Christmas, is those three things, It's just really interesting. I was like, that's such a neat idea. Then I'm hearing of these other parents that like Santa brings one or two gifts. Like, that's what Santa brings.
But the big gifts, right?
But like, whatever it is, whatever they decide to pick for Santa. But then the parents are the people who are responsible for the rest of the gifts. To which I lost every fight I've ever had with Shanna. But I remember doing that early on with Shanna, like, hey, like, I think the kids should know that some things come from us, and nope, everything comes from Santa, so some uniquely spoiled children, a few years, 20 years later, but it's just that idea of like, oh yeah, like everyone has these traditions. And I was like, but I really thought the three things was interesting. Like, what a neat idea, because I think other people realize sometimes like, oh, grandmoms, aunts, uncles, like these kids get enough, so it's pretty interesting, because I always think about it too when I'm like, oh, I want to get this person a gift and this person a gift. And it's like, and it's funny because you'll see some of the adults when I bring gifts for some of my coworkers, they kind of make a face, and I realize now it's not because like they're unappreciative. It was just like, all right, my kid doesn't need another another thing. So
you're
right.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, so your early Christmas gift for the boys has led Monica to
Have I caused you?
I mean, it's gonna be funny. It's gonna be, well. Actually, I was actually in fear at first, but so the first day that we put I think you saw it yesterday. For those of you that were listening, don't call CYS or Children and Youth, where James started to axe his head against the steering wheel because he wanted to steer it.
Yeah, right. That's what he thought, because no one's teaching him how to drive properly.
But then here goes Monica, Richard, and then I'm just like, no. Monica's on the couch, and I look up, and she goes, "What's wrong?" And she's like, Christmas is going to be very interesting because I didn't buy double gifts of anything. And I was like, dear God, I was like, these two boys are going to just destroy when I want the Batman.
Right.
I want it. And it's just judo tossing each other.
No. Yeah. And like, yeah, I'm so curious. My cousins who just had twins, like when Shannon and I were trying to buy a couple outfits for them, and Shannon was like, nope, let's, we got to get different ones. And I'm like, no, I think we need to get the same one. Like, and that's the thing. Like, yeah, I think you got to get the same. Yeah. I say, if they're not listening, hopefully Brixton and crew aren't listening. But we got them a taco truck, like a food truck.
Where'd you find that?
This the Amazon. But I'm getting like, so hopefully that will create some sort of working together. I feel like maybe the boys should have gotten like a food truck. Maybe we convert the Batmobile to a food truck and say, boys, you got to work together on this. Like, yeah. So,
can you imagine? I can't even do. Hey,
Yeah.
Axe, you can be Batman, and James, you be Robin. Who
Yeah.
wants to
Oh,
be
no.
Robin?
Right. Then you can be Commissioner Gordon, but you understand, like, yeah. I genuinely, again, I don't know when the last time I saw the boys is, but I mean, I've seen them a million times in the videos, but I really thought that they would have no ability to fit into the vehicle. Like, I really thought that was going to be Jade's car, and the boys just like, I really did. I thought it was going to be Jade's car, and eventually, when the boys are big enough, and they might. I mean, they're not too big for it, but they're the perfect size for that. That was crazy.
Man, they love it.
I really thought they were going to be way too small for it, and Jade would drive it, and yeah, no, that's great.
You win Christmas.
Yeah, well, that was the goal. So, it also, right? I was gonna say, when you share those videos, and then the friends who I shopped at Five Below for, were like, "What? My kid got a Five Below." Like, yeah, let's listen.
Listen, well,
listen, my boss,
life.
my boss. Listen, my boss on my podcast is wrong. This is where I pulled the big paycheck from. So, but yeah, listen, that's the true spirit of Christmas. We left out so many movies, so many movies.
Some of the ones that people swear are the top must-see, top 3 Christmas movies, definitely.
I mean, listen, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation is one everyone quotes. I haven't seen it from start to finish. I mean, I've seen the whole movie, but I haven't seen it start to finish.
You're not remembering it. I get it. Like, I'm not like, oh yeah, I remember that scene.
Yeah,
like Home Alone 2, I'm like, I can watch the movie in my head.
Home Alone, Polar Express is a bigger one. The Christmas Story. Honestly, I think the worst thing that happened to the Christmas Story was being played 24 hours on TBS and like not just TBS, like the TNT and TBS play it for 24 hours. Like, I don't think that helped for me, from my perspective, because I remember watching it and being like, oh, this is kind of fun, but then it's like, all right, it's on too much.
All right, I watched it once. I'm not going to watch it the next.
Yeah, there's every Christmas Carol. I'm sure there's people who would have been like, "Where's the Muppets Christmas Carol?" I don't know. I love the Muppets. I will fist fight someone about how good the Muppets are, but it just didn't quite hit me.
We're thinking about more. They're asking about more coal for the fire. How would you like to be unemployed? And then you see them dancing in the little Hawaii outfits.
Right. You know what? I was gonna say that actually it is one of the better of all the Muppet endeavors. So you've just reminded me. Maybe that's all I need. Maybe that's all I need sometimes is just be reminded. I'm curious if we did this list again next year. We'll be like, you guys did 5 different movies. Yeah, I don't know what happened. It changed. So
it's allowed to change.
But I think the next time we see each other online here will be in the new year.
It'll be in the new year, and Richard and I will circle back to see what we're going to discuss, because you said, and I think you're probably right, that Spider-Man is going to be the biggest movie of the year. There's one more in my lineup for Thursday, and that's The Matrix. But right. I don't see it surpassing Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think it'll do really well, but I just don't. Yeah, I think Spider-Man. What Spider-Man was able to do was bring all of the Avengers with it, all the new fans of Marvel, and then all the Spider-Man fans. So, really a testament. He is Marvel's Superman. He is Marvel's most recognizable character. So.
And they got me and my 2 girls. That's not happening with The Matrix. You get the whole kid, all the kids. You don't get that with The Matrix. That's a date night, I guess.
Yep. I think that's what that is. All right.
So we did it again. There goes another year.
Our first calendar year.
Next year, we're not a pandemic. Maybe we're in person or in Hawaii.
Yeah. One of these days. Yeah. When you feel like 100%. See you, everybody.
Everybody, Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.
We'll see you. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
We're so far removed from Hanukkah, but still Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa.
My mom is not proud, but we'll see you guys next year. Bye-bye.